Hello, I'm Kerry Martell, author of RVlivingguide.com. I'll be your guide to adventure. Today we're going to talk about the realities of full-time RV living, stealth camping in cities. So one thing you'll notice about my videos on this channel that feature me, I don't put a lot of flash into them. I don't have, you don't see me like, oh God, I just woke up today with my hair all gelled up, or wearing a bunch of makeup, or wearing, clothing that's all super tight, and I got my little outfit, but I just pulled open the door to my camper van, stepped out into the city, and oh gosh, everything's so beautiful. There's people fucking kayaking and riding bicycles and all this other nonsense. Have some piano track underneath my videos. It all sounds inspirational and artificial and all bullshit, okay? This is not one of those channels. This is a channel where I talk about the truth. I give you the real fucking hard facts, and I talk about it, the way that it actually is in my experience. And I've got a lot of experience. I've been living full-time digital nomad for a lot of years now. I did have a brief period where I lived, in my nice, fancy luxury apartments there in Hollywood. I lived at 1600 Vine for I think it was 9 months, something like that. Otherwise, I've lived in a camper van. I've lived in a Class B motorhome, and I've lived in a Class C motorhome, and I've also lived in a car. Now I have a 34-foot Airstream trailer that I haul with my Ford F-350. So I have a lot of versatile experience with very different types of stealth camping, boondocking inside of cities. So the advice I'm giving you is the real shit, not this artificial, nonsense a lot of these other video bloggers do. I watch these videos and I'm like, yeah, but there's not a lot of substance to it, right? It's all flash, not a lot of substance, and some of it, some of it I think is fake. I think some of these are just fake videos. So right now I'm in a Walmart parking lot. It's reversed because I'm using my phone backwards at me, but I'm in a Walmart parking lot right now. This would be a place that you'd see a lot of homeless people camping. And this one, I don't see any readily apparent now, and it's probably because they don't allow overnight parking. I spoke too soon. Right over there, there's a guy. There's a guy right over there. This is a smaller Walmart. It doesn't have a whole deli. It's one of those marketplaces, basically. But you'd see a lot of people parking in them. And I just want to show you, there's a sign over here that says cameras in use. Walmarts tend to have 24-hour security, and they've got cameras and everything else. And when they see people hanging around too much, they'll have the security guards come by and flash their, flashlights at you, and they'll tell you to move along and leave. They might call the police on you. Walmarts used to be a great place to do stealth camping, and some of them are, but the vast majority now no longer are, because too many people have abused it. They've stayed out their welcome, basically. Too many people that are homeless drug addicts, they go to the grocery stores and they live in the parking lots. They go into the grocery stores, they get high in the bathrooms, and they use the bathrooms for 30 minutes or an hour, doing drugs in there. It's the truth. And it just causes a lot of problems for the staff. They bother the staff, they steal stuff from the grocery stores. So I don't recommend going to Walmarts or Targets or Fred Meyer's, any places like that, Safeways. Don't go to grocery stores to do your stealth camping. They used to be great places, but they're not anymore. The reality of full-time RV living, stealth camping is, number one, a lot of people are going to confuse you for being a homeless person, okay? Sort of comes with the territory. Most people in cities living in a vehicle are homeless people, and they're drug addicts, and they cause problems. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is to not look like them. Don't look like them. Don't walk around, It's really easy to want to just walk around in your sweatpants and your flip-flops because you just got out of your vehicle and you've been living in there. But you don't want to do that, because when you go into a grocery store, you ask to use the bathroom, they think you're going to go in there and shoot up. So don't look like a homeless person. You're going to make things a lot easier for yourself. Put some effort into it, okay? Number two, Black Card membership, Planet Fitness. You can go to any Planet Fitness in the country. You can shower, you can work out, take care of yourself, you can groom yourself. I fill up my water bottle in there for free. I don't use, I don't use those big machines outside of Walmart's and other grocery stores to pay for water. Why would I pay for water? Just get, fill up your thing at the Planet Fitness. Come on. Third tip I would give you, you need to be flexible. You need a very flexible person. You need to not be someone who's very rigid and needs to have all the things lined up for you to do something and jump on something. You don't have to be someone who's a super planner. Like, obviously you have to plan out how you're going to do your kit, plan out your traveling and your trips. But if things don't go your way someday, you can't be a type of person that just loses their shit, has to call up mommy and daddy for moral support and all kinds of stuff. It's just not going to work for you. This isn't going to work for you. There's all kinds of crazy things that can happen. I've had my tires blow out many times. I've had, issues. I once had a camper van that I bought, and the previous owner put a bunch of, they put stuff down the toilet they shouldn't have put down. I don't really know what it was. I assume it was like baby wipes. Put it down there, and the first time I tried to dump it, it was all clogged up. And I had to try to, get somebody to come and manually clean it all out. And basically had to take it over to a guy that had a business that cleaned out latrines with the little pumps. And, that's how I had to solve that problem. And it cost some money, not as much as you'd think. But, I solved the issue, and it was a big fucking mess. I was messing around with like fucking coat hangers and stuff, trying to clean it out. It wasn't working, and I had to do it that way. And these are, things that you're going to find. Like, I don't find any blog articles that talk about this shit. This is all stuff you have to figure out on your own. There's blog articles, and I'm trying to put some stuff out that gives some of my experiences and my advice. But a lot of things you're going to experience, there's no article, because a lot of people writing these articles, they're not real RVers. A lot of them really aren't. That's why their advice is really generic. What they're doing is they're taking little bots and they're spitting other people's articles. They're hiring some person in India who's never seen an RV to write articles about RV, and they're imitating somebody else's articles about RVing. It's not written by people that are full-time RVers. Or it's written as content marketing by somebody who owns an RV dealership or an RV park. And a lot of these people aren't boondockers, so they don't have a lot of advice to give. And then you do see like a lot of video bloggers who are stealth campers and boondockers, but they don't really do it full-time. They're not really doing it full-time. They do have apartments. They do the boondocking and stealth camping for their YouTube channels and their Instagram pages. Let's just be honest about it. So you're going to have to be able to find your own solutions to problems sometimes. And if that's not the type of person that you are, this isn't going to work for you. Next thing, if you're living full-time as a stealth camper, you probably are single. I'm single. I do have sometimes, I'll have a girl who stays overnight or something with me, but I never have like anybody travel with me. I'm always having to do this shit by myself. And I think that I'm a pretty well-adjusted person, so I can spend a lot of time by myself. I've spent a lot of time by myself, but it ain't easy. It's not always easy. Human beings aren't built to be antisocial. We're just not. We're social creatures. And, you can have a lot of health problems if you don't get any social interaction. So you've got to be okay with spending a lot of time by yourself. Like, if you can't spend an entire day without having to text somebody, this lifestyle's not going to work for you. Okay? It's just not going to work for you. You get very lonely. And when you get very, very lonely, your mind can wander to dark places and you can have really bad thoughts. And that can be tough. But it's also kind of normal. Like, you're not supposed to spend, you're not supposed to be a hermit. Human beings are social creatures, just the truth. But you've got to find a balance to it. A lot of people who are stealth camping, they're not doing this because they don't have any friends. They're doing this as a cheap way of living and traveling, or they live somewhere like fucking San Francisco. Big community of van livers and stealth campers in places like San Francisco, because the cost of rent is so ridiculous. It's so fucking ridiculous. And so they're turning to this as a way to live cheaply while they work. They do have full-time jobs. So they have social interaction with people and stuff like that. But if you're like me and you travel around and you work primarily through the internet, it can be kind of tough. it can be kind of tough, which is why I find dating to be a great way to get that social interaction. Sort of. It's hit and miss these days. I have a different blog where I talk about that. Nevertheless, if you're not okay traveling by yourself, if the idea of driving from like Portland, Oregon to Austin, Texas, a couple thousand miles of driving, take you about 4 days of driving nonstop, if that sounds scary to you in any way, or just sounds really boring, this is not a lifestyle for you. It's just not a lifestyle for you, okay? And I don't have to have a bunch of fucking piano tracks under my videos to convince you of that. Just imagine it. Just imagine it, because it's a lot. It is a lot. The types of people that work best for this type of lifestyle are the same types of people that do really well as lawn truck haulers, driving semi trucks. So, what more can I say? This is not a lifestyle that's all, it's not all. I'm trying to think of a nice thing, because what I want to say is not appropriate for this channel, but living full-time as an RVer, stealth camping, traveling around, it's not a lifestyle that's always 100% pure and great, okay? Sometimes it's kind of shitty. Sometimes the weather's bad. Sometimes it gets really fucking cold at night. Sometimes you're really lonely. And you've got to find ways to entertain yourself. You have to read. You have to have access to the internet. You got to work on yourself. Work on your business, whatever you're trying to grow, and the reason why you're saving money. In my case, I run businesses, and I save costs by living remotely and working remotely. I don't have to be in LA, which is very expensive to live. And when I am in LA, for reasons like meetings, I'm not spending, hundreds of dollars a night on hotel rooms, because I just live out of my trailer or my van or whatever it is I'm in. So I don't know what more I can say. These are some of the advantages of it, some of the great things about it, but there's a lot of, there's other harsher realities. There's harsher realities. So, and it does take some money. It really does. Anybody who tries to tell you that it's a super cheap, you can do it with zero money, they're lying to you. If your tires blow out, your engine has problems, that all has to be paid for, And if you're spending, like $3,000, $4,000 getting a new motor put in your truck, are you really saving money on rent? You got to ask yourself that. If you're living in LA, sure, you're saving rent. But if you were living in like the boondocks of Texas, where rent would only be like $300 a month, you're not really saving that much money. So it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. Hope that you got something real and genuine and true out of this video. I'm a different type of RV blogger. I don't have the bells and whistles. I'm not trying to convince you that this is a magical fucking adventure, because it's really not. It is a lot of fun. It is something that I would recommend other people do if you have the right personality type for it, if you're trying to save money while you're traveling, if you're just trying to save money in general, because it can be cheaper, but you got to be smart about it. If you're going to do a lot of traveling around the country, it's not a cheaper way to live. It's a cheaper way to travel, but it's not a cheaper way to live. If you're stealth camping in a city, I can park in a camper van by a neighborhood park for months at end and live on like couple $100 a month, and be within spitting distance of Los Angeles, and go to Disneyland and all this other stuff, and have business meetings, most of what I was doing, very, very cheaply without having to pay huge fees on Airbnb, for hotels, for rent. So it can be very useful and productive, but it has drawbacks, and you should know about them. I'm Kerry Martell of RVlivingguide.com. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, let me know any questions you have. Cheers.